Agile ceremonies, they are basically a very big part of the agile methodologies, and they help teams to collaborate and communicate effectively. What I mean by ceremonies is they're basically like meetings and events that you have together as a team that allows you to track your goals, allows you to track what you're building, and allow you to collaborate effectively with your team. And some of those ceremonies include the daily stand-up. I mentioned daily Scrum earlier. This is also quite synonymous. So daily stand-ups are short meetings that are held by the team every day to discuss the progress of what they're doing. So you identify any roadblocks that you have, any challenges, and you plan your work for the day. And every team member within a team answers each of these questions: what they did yesterday, what they're planning on doing today, and if they have any blockers or impediments in their way. So you, as a product owner, it's your job to ask this question, or as a Scrum Master in this case, anyways, you ask questions and you try as much as possible to find ways to resolve any blockers or impediments that your developers or your product team basically has. The sprint planning meeting, I mentioned at the beginning of each sprint, the team meets together to plan the work that they will do in the sprint. And this team reviews like the product backlog that they have, and then they select each of the user stories that will be worked on during the sprint. And then you have a sprint demo. A sprint demo is kind of like the sprint review where the team comes together and demo what has been done so far within that sprint, and usually done with other stakeholders present, other members of an organization present within that particular demo. Then you have this sprint retrospective. I mentioned this earlier too. It is when you come together and reflect on what you've done so far within the sprint, and you discuss what has worked well for you, what you need to do better, and if any improvement can be made. And if there's any improvements that needs to be made, you apply it you apply it to the next sprint. Then you have backlog grooming. Backlog grooming is something that happens continuously within the sprint. It doesn't have a particular period that you really do it, but it's when you come together and then review what you have in your backlog and define, like, okay, this is what we have in our backlog. Let's prioritize which one is important, which one is not important, which one can we do now, which one can we do later. Can we describe what is there? Can we break it down further? That's what your backlog grooming is. Come together as a team and then break down what you currently have in your backlog. You groom what you have in your backlog. You break it down into smaller pieces. You refine it. You define what each of these user stories are talking about in your backlog. And the last one is design reviews. Design reviews is usually it could be between the whole team, but it can also be between the product owner and the designer within the team. This is where you review the design that has been done by a designer for like the product that you're building, and then you review it. Okay, does this fit into what we're trying to do, or does this button make sense? Does this user experience align with what we're trying to do? Would it cause problems for our users? So this is what design reviews allow you to do, so that you can iterate and make sure that whatever designs you're trying to implement later would actually give great user experience for your customers. And all these ceremonies and rituals in quotes is designed for you to collaborate within your team, to be transparent, to make sure you're constantly improving, and they help you focus on the goals and the things you're trying to build. And it allows you to also adapt to any changes that needs to be made. And by using all these practices, agile teams work quite effectively and efficiently to deliver very high quality products.